guys, this is Josh. I'm here at Lexington 2014 with none other than Curtis Armstrong. You can call him whatever you want to, just as long as you don't make him really angry. And challenge him to anything like toilet paper or vegetables or a friend with a Secret Service girlfriend or anything else like that. It's really good to see you, Mr. Armstrong. How are you?
Thank you, Josh. It's nice to be here.
I was fortunate enough to get on the Hub rotation last year to talk with you about Dan Versus. You've done a lot of awesome stuff, but voice acting is a really interesting and fun career to do. Do you like voice acting more than on screen? Do you have a preference?
No, I think what made Dan Versus so great, and some of the other stuff I've done too, is just that the character of Dan was so fun. I mean, sort of exhausting to be constantly angry and screaming all the time, but I really loved it. And it was just, but it's not the same thing. It's really apples and oranges. It's not at all the same thing as on camera or stage or anything like that. It's just its own beast.
We've talked to a lot of voice actors, and I've gotten a lot of answers like, they don't care what you look like, so I just show up in whatever I want. But, they also don't use the performance like, what I would say, like Dan Versus, for instance.
Well, when we were doing Dan Versus, it would be Dave Foley and Paget Brewster and I, and we would be in this little room when we could arrange it, when the three of us were all in town at the same time. We would shoot episodes, and it was really sparking off of each other, the actors, which was great. But on other shows, like American Dad, for example, I never work with the actors. The producers and directors know what they want from my performance and everyone's performance. So everybody is recorded individually. They don't do big room recordings. So, it's just it's a totally different experience when you're doing even in voice acting from one job to another.
We talked with Paget right after we talked with you, and she seems like she would be incredibly fun to work with. And I think that's one of the things that we enjoyed most about Dan Versus in particular was that you guys really all put everything you had into it, won a couple Emmys. It was a fantastic show. We're going to see Dan again at some point, right? No, breaks my heart.
I wish it were so, but we haven't done a new episode of Dan Versus in 2 years. And no one will admit to it. I mean, no one will say we canceled Dan Versus. But like I say, it's 2 years. Right. I ran into some of the crew from Dan Versus at Nickelodeon last week. They've moved over to Nickelodeon. They've started their own jobs. It's gone. But no one will say it's gone. But believe me, it's gone.
That sucks. It sucks really bad. Now you have King of the Nerds, which is arguably one of the funnest shows on television. Revenge of the Nerds, all of that stuff from the past. Did you ever think you'd be doing anything like that?
Like King of the Nerds? No, never. I mean, that was something Robert and I came up with, an idea we came up with and we pitched and sold, but we never even dreamed we would be a part of a reality show. It was just never on our radar. And the fact that it has gone on for 2 seasons, hopefully it'll go on for a third, but we haven't heard. And every day that goes by makes me less and less certain that it's coming back. But if it doesn't come back, it'll break my heart. But that's all right. It gets broken all the time when they cancel stuff.
That's part of it, I guess. We just in our collective group and community, we know a lot of folks who love the show, and the both of you and Robert, and it's we're glad to have you here for LexCon 2014. We hope to see you again very soon.
Thanks a lot, Josh.